Kamini. My question is about thoughts always come after the action is done. I meditated on that and found out that sometimes there are thoughts which are happening during the actions and describing the actions at that moment, rather than afterthoughts. However, many times, before any words or actions are articulated through words, there is a knowing of the moment or what should be done, which seems to come from beyond the mind and somewhat is translated into words through the mind. There seems to be an observable lack of gap between knowing and thinking. I appreciate your comments. Kamini, first, thoughts always come after the action is done. I don't think I have ever said that. What I have said is that the notion of a doer who claims to be the author of the action always comes after of a separate doer, comes after or before the action. After I'm going to do this. Before I am going to do this, and after I am the one who did it. But in fact, as a separate entity, as a separate doer, we are not the doer of our deeds. Doesn't mean there is no doer of the deeds. There is a doer of the deeds. And we are the doer of the deeds, but not as a separate entity. Just as we are the thinker of our thoughts, but not as a separate thinker, as a limited thinker. So it is true that sometimes actions are preceded by thoughts. There are deliberated actions. Should I do this? Should I do that? Let's think about it. Oh, I'm going to do this. Decision, then action. These are deliberate actions. And then there are instantaneous actions. The car is rushing towards me. I am on the street. I jump onto the sidewalk. I don't have the time to think this one. Instantaneous action. Another time, someone tells me, "You're stupid." I punch the guy in the face. Instantaneous action. No reflection there, no deliberation. Now, the reason I use this second type of spontaneous action, it's not real spontaneous. You see what I mean? It comes from ignorance. How did you dare? The thought that is there, how did he dare do that to me? Paf! So there was a short thought and a quick reaction, but it was still a reaction. Spontaneous action is an action that comes from the source. It can be immediate, like jumping on the sidewalk, or it can be delayed or deliberate as a result of an investigation and an understanding. Then love, intelligence, beauty suggest that we do this, and then we do it. There is harmony. That which makes a decision, that which does the deed, is intelligence. So, spontaneous action doesn't mean immediate action. That's the point I was making. I know that you are referring to a lack of gap between knowing and thinking. That would refer to a moment of understanding, knowing, right? Knowing what should be done. that can be either the result of a deliberation of thought, or it can be a direct intuition without thought. It can come, for instance, directly from an impulse, which is prior to thought. It can come from the feeling of love. Or it can come from the feeling of separation, as in the case of punching the guy in the face. Anyway, those were my comments. You wanted comments. Here they were. Thank you for your question.